Hey guys, Stas here. We're outside, it's night time. Why am I outside? Well, the rest of my family are inside watching a TV show, which I just plain can't be bothered with. So, I thought I'd do something beer related. That's right. And what is that beer related activity? It's going to be judging a stout competition. So I went over and saw Gash Slugg last week to give him some beers, and he said, "Oh, are you in a hurry?" I'm like, "Oh, I got a little bit." Why? He says, "Oh, I don't have anything to give you, but I've got an idea." And so he started rummaging around his fridge and ripping up bits of paper and writing things on, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "You're going to be judging a competition." I'm like, "What competition?" He said, "A stout competition." So apparently he's had this stout competition on the go for almost 2 years, and he keeps not getting around to it, so he decided to outsource the judging. So that's this guy. So why not? So I don't know that I'm going to do much as we go footage, but I'll definitely come back with a wrap up and give you my final thoughts on each of the 4 beers. There's 4 beers. I've no idea what they are. I know they're a stout, and I know they've been brewed at least 12 months ago, but there might be oatmeal stouts at about 5% or less. They might be Russian Imperial stouts at 10% or more. Don't know. So here we go. Wish me luck. Alright guys, so beer number 1. This is a stout. That much I know for sure. The rest is pure guesswork. Oh, I do know it's beer number 1, because Gash knows who and what these beers are, and he's the only one who knows, so I better record it. And you'll get to laugh at me to see how wrong I am, or gasp in astonishment if I get it correct. Very unlikely though. So beer number 1, getting a roasty note. Hang on, let me take a sip. I'm getting roast, chocolate. It's a little bit sweet. I think I'm getting a bit of smoked malt in there. It's got a slight savoury note to it. Carbonation's on the low side, but very appropriate for the style. The colour is black, but you can see just on the edge there, when I shone a torch through it, you do get a teeny tiny bit of light through it, and it's clear. So, cheers to the brewer. I'm getting little hints of chocolate and coffee as well. There was a slightly sharp alcohol note. I do get the feeling that the ABV on this one is probably in the 8-ish, 7 to 8% range. Just because I am getting that slight alcohol note to it. Well made beer. No off flavours that I can detect. Very appropriate to the style of a stout. But yeah, beer number 1. Let's go on to beer number 2. Right, welcome back. Here we are with beer number 2, and this light looks surprisingly similar. But this one, notably, when I poured it out, it's a little bit flat now. I've let it warm up a bit. This had a deep caramel head. The other 3 have a sort of a very light off off-white colour head. This one was definitely caramel colour. It's much darker head than the others, and this is the only beer that when you shine a torch through it, nothing gets through. Oh, straight off the nose, I'm getting big dark fruits, getting raisins, plum, that kind of real Christmas pudding type aroma. A little bit of coffee and chocolate. There is a little bit of a alcohol note hinting at a higher ABV. I'm guessing this one is probably in the 8 to 9%, but it doesn't have quite as sharp it doesn't have an alcohol twing to it, burn I guess, which I picked up in initially a lot more in number 1, but as it warmed up it got less. Big, rich mouthfeel. Carbonation is really good again for the style. You don't want these too lively, but it's definitely there. And these bloody moths are flying around my head. What else can I say? This one, you get the sensation that it's sweet, and it does taste sweet initially, but it dries out on the palate when you finish it. It's a great sipper, but very nice. Beer number 3. Beer number 3. Now this is beer number 3. I don't know. It seems ridiculous not knowing anything about the beers apart from they're a stout. Quiet you. Now this beer, not getting a heap of aroma off it. It's probably a little unfair coming after the previous beer, which had like an abundance of aroma. This tastes like a pretty taste. I'm not drinking it. I'm smelling it. Idiot. Not getting much aroma. Let's go for a taste. Now this is more of a run-of-the-mill sort of dry stout. It reminds me a bit of like a Tooheys Old kind of thing. Much thinner on the mouthfeel. It's got a bit of it's got a dry finish. I'd put this at between 4.5 to 5%, 5.5%. You could session on this one a couple of pints easy. It's but I think for me it's kind of it's very standard, and it's difficult for me assessing it as just the broad category of stouts and which one I like. That was my instruction. Which one do you like more? I think this one, while I'm just looking at my notes here, it does have a slight, a funny aftertaste. Or like a dry. It reminds me of it could be like an oxidized flavour, or maybe it reminds me of, and I apologise to the brewer, like your classic homebrew flavour in a beer. It's got this kind of almost carbonation, really dry finish. I need to talk to Gash because I know Gash is really susceptible, sensitive to oxidation. I need to kind of chat to him about what he describes as oxidation, because I think that's what I'm tasting. I can't be 100% sure though. But yeah, apart from that, really drinkable. But it's, you know, the other two stouts that we've had so far are like in a category that's much higher, and so comparatively, this tastes watery. It tastes very one-dimensional compared to the other two. It's just a kind of a dry, roasty stout. It's well balanced as a beer. Pardon me. Well presented, well carbonated. Yeah. So beer number 3. So we have beer number 4. No, that would be silly. Beer number 4, the last of the 4. Again, it's a dark beer. It's a stout. But you can see light does get through. So beer number 3 is probably the lightest in colour. 1 and 4 are very similar, and 2 is the darkest. Aroma wise, getting a little bit of sweetness and roast, and maybe raisins. And smell, carbonation, it's good, not holding much of a head, but again, these style of beers, especially if they are higher in alcohol, they often don't have head retention. So, let's dive in. There's something in the tree behind me. I'm getting a bit of an alcohol note to it as well. This one could be a Russian Imperial Stout. It tastes like an alcoholic beer. Probably 8-ish%. Sorry, I made number 3 I'd said was between 4.5 to 5.5. Number 2 was probably 8 to 9, and I think number 1 was around 8, maybe more, maybe less. Anyway, on the flavour, that sharp alcohol note, which makes me think it's a Russian Imperial Stout. If it is a Russian Imperial Stout, that's characteristic and in style. If not, that might point to something gone wrong with fermentation. But I'm also getting roasty flavours. I'm getting coffee flavours, a little bit of chocolate. It's quite dry on the finish. I did write in my notes that I got a slight sour note on the side of my tongue at the back. As the beer is warmed, that's died down a bit. It is still kind of there, but again, really nice beer. For me, the alcohol burn in this one is a little much. I'd like to see that dialed back a little bit. Yeah. What else to say about this? I think that's about it. So anyway, my final verdict. I need to go away and think about it. So, we've reached the point in the night Well, I was bouncing back and forwards between 3 of the beers, and they were just beginning to be more and more similar. So I went back over my notes and drilled down to the best answer that I can come up with. And the winner of this stout competition is this one. But which number is it? We have number 3, which was, I think, the dry Irish stout. As I said before, it was a well-made beer, but kind of a little unfair going up against the other styles, which I think are much bigger styles, and in that field it just lacked a lot of depth and complexity. Second place, I was umming and ahhing. Not second place, third place. Number 3 was 4th. Third place, I was umming and ahhing between number 4 and number 1 because they were very similar. The reason for my hesitation is I realised that it was going to be more suspenseful, but then I just told you who won in my mind. Yeah, they're very similar beers, beer number 1 and beer number 4. But I actually gave number 4 third place, number 1 second place, because I think I'm guessing the smoke malt or something in the grain bill just kind of had that extra depth to the flavour, and yeah, I like that. Made it a bit more interesting to drink. And so this beer, number 2, is my pick of the bunch. The complexity of the flavour and the aroma, and it's just got such a big aroma. Smooth. I'm guessing it packs a punch. Don't actually know what percentage alcohol it is, but yeah, congratulations number 2, whoever you are, and congratulations to all the brewers. Really good beers put forward, and yeah, this is again just my personal preference. I didn't have any style guides go off or any information about the beers, so if you have any complaints, please direct your complaints to Gash Slugg. No, big thanks to Gash for asking me to judge this competition. It was fun, and what I found really fun was trying to. I mean, I knew it was a stout. They're all stouts, but trying to figure your way out around the beers based on your tasting and aromaing, smelling. It's good because when I've judged beers in the past, like Estepor Challenge and the Dank Lord, you kind of usually know what beer you're drinking, and you have like preconceptions about what you're expecting to taste. But yeah, it was really interesting, kind of just only knowing the ballpark and then kind of have to figure it out. So Gash, you're either rolling around on the floor laughing about how much shit I'm talking, or hopefully I've got some of it right. Yeah, I'd really like to know what the beers were and how close or far away I was, and who the brewers were. Apparently you said that I might know some of them. So yeah, cheers everyone. I'm going to wrap this up before I waffle on for any further period of time. Waffle. So I'm going to leave it there. Cheers.